My pleasure to welcome on my friend Ian Rapoport of the NFL Network and NFL Media, senior NFL insider, national NFL insider. Rap, how we doing?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
Not much, as always. It's wonderful to see you, wonderful to talk to you. What a crazy early slate of games that we saw on Sunday. The Chiefs find a way to survive, but I want to look at the Indianapolis Colts. Is there reason to doubt that the Colts can make a run in January if you blow a 20-9 lead like they had in the fourth quarter?
No, I mean, well, first of all, look, they were facing the Chiefs, and I know the Chiefs' record is what it is, but I still see them, and I still see the same team that's been there, that knows how to win, that knows how to make the clutch plays in the end. I mean, that's calmer than anyone when the game's on the line. So the record of the Chiefs isn't great, but they're still the Chiefs. And so that when you're trying to understand like what to make of the Colts loss, that's part of it. The other thing I would say is like we're gonna find out about them because beginning of the year they were rolling. It felt like they were playing downhill. Jonathan Taylor was going off. Daniel Jones was really unbothered. And then like gets a little bit harder and people start bringing different kinds of pressure. They start stopping the run. They start throwing exotic blitzes at you. They start gearing up for your team because you're one of the good teams. It all changes. And, I think the Colts are real, but we're going to find out because, every team has been given them and is going to give them the kind of effort that the Chiefs did. And like, that's a lot to handle. And honestly, that's what the Chiefs have been dealing with for the last 10 years or so.
Did the Bengals decide to wait on Burrow because they thought even with a loss, the season is still in play? Or did they maybe wait a week too late because a loss against the Patriots feels like it ends their season?
Well, I think look, for the Bengals to get to the playoffs, obviously it's a long shot. They got to run the table. Now, even with Joe Burrow fully healthy, ready to roll, running the table is a lot. So, like, lightning has to strike. I think, Burrow not playing this week was really just he's not ready to go. Like, it's early. It's 2.5 months from grade 3 turf toe. It's just too early. And, like, same thing with Aaron Rodgers earlier today. Obviously, he didn't play on Sunday. It's like when you want to play and you're pushing, you're doing everything you can to be out there, and the doctors say you cannot go, you cannot go. And I think for Burrow, he did everything he could. He was a full participant in practice. Wednesday, Thursday seemed to come back okay. Wasn't really sort of worse for wear, but still at risk of injury, of further injury, and just too fast. So I felt like it was more of a medical decision as opposed to like a strategic decision. But anyway, I think there's a real chance he plays, against the Baltimore Ravens on Thanksgiving, and they got to be perfect, but maybe they will be. We'll see.
The Giants pushed the Lions, forced them to overtime. Ultimately, the Lions find a way to be victorious, but certainly there was a spark there for the Giants. Do you believe Mike Kafka has a realistic shot at being hired as the full-time head coach after the season?
0-2, it makes it hard. He has been a real head coach candidate. I think he was, I don't love saying this, but it felt like he was maybe the number 2 option or maybe 3 in Seattle when Mike McDonald got it. So, like, he's been up for jobs. He's a real candidate. I think it's legitimate. I just don't know, like, if they play like this, which is well but lose, then it's hard to sell it. You have to be really super convicted to be like, all right, like this guy who didn't help us win any more games is definitely the guy to help turn us around. So I think there's a chance, but they probably got to win some games for that to happen. But if, it feels like this team has played better. It feels like this is a good job, especially obviously with Jackson Dart back in at quarterback. So, there's going to be no shortage of good candidates. Like my guess is this will be maybe the best job available. So we'll see what they do. Yeah.
Oh, what do you think makes it the best job?
Jackson Dart's a good place to start. Offensive line's played pretty good. They got Neighbors who's really good. They got talent on defense. I think they're good. I think they are a couple complementary players away from being a really solid competitive football team. And, in today's NFL, if you're good enough to go 9-8, like you're good enough to go 11-6 or whatever it is and get to the playoffs, and then we'll see. Like everyone is so compressed that if you're just viable, you got a chance. So I think whoever's the coach next year will for sure have a chance.
Do you think that coaching was an issue then for the Giants this year?
Yeah, I think the main thing that was an issue for me was they had games where they played well. All the Russell Wilson games at the beginning were the biggest issue. Sorry, they were. They were bad. He was not good enough. We'll see how much he has left if he plays another year. I've seen this before. I like Russ, so I hope it's not the end, but sometimes that's what the end looks like. I just think the main problem is once you had all those losses with Russ under your belt, such a thin margin for error that even though Jackson Dart played well and gave you a chance, when you're 2-6, or whatever, every loss, it's like, are they going to fire him yet? Are they going to fire him yet? Fans are asking, reporters are asking. At some point, it becomes unbearable. That to me kind of did in Brian Daboll more than anything else.
Do you think the Minnesota Vikings have remorse over their decision at quarterback? Because Daniel Jones has had a really good season. They let him walk out the door as a backup. Sam Darnold's had a really good season in Seattle. And they were at least talking to Aaron Rodgers seemingly in the offseason. And, they stuck on J.J. McCarthy. So do you think there's remorse there for the Vikings?
Yeah, I mean, I think Rodgers was, definitely a consideration. If he didn't go to Pittsburgh, I think, the quarterback domino is so fun to think about. If Stafford goes somewhere else, who knows? Giants, Raiders, who knows? Then Aaron Rodgers probably goes to the Rams, I think, right? But anyway, it's, the Vikings were for sure interested, but they believed in J.J. McCarthy. They let Sam Darnold walk to go get, the kind of money that he got. I think Daniel Jones is probably the one that got away a little bit, maybe more than anything else, because they made him a strong offer. If I remember correctly, they offered to pay him more than the Colts, but he liked that quarterback situation better, thinking he could win the job, which he has, and that was a right decision. But I wonder if they could do it again. Might they offer Daniel Jones an offer he couldn't turn down and say not yet for J.J. McCarthy? Because they do really believe in the talent, but the play is what it is, and they're too good of a roster to have this record, honestly.
I want to ask you about the Bills because after Thursday night's loss, there's a lot of concern that this thing is just permanently broken this season. And sitting Keon Coleman for 2 straight weeks is certainly a blinking light. Did the Keon Coleman, or does the Keon Coleman situation this year, has that disrupted the offense larger than just, his position on the team?
Well, it certainly has been disruptive, both for reasons of us talking about it and you'd like a good player on the field. I think the main, I think sitting him, from what I know, was the right thing. And not because I'm like some big disciplinarian, but the main reason is if you can't be on time and you can't handle your responsibilities away from the field, are you going to run the right route? Are you going to lead to an interception? Those are the kinds of things that bleed into on the field. So if you're not getting it done off the field, you're probably not going to be ready on the field. And I think it's okay to say, you know what? We like you. You're a really good player. We want you to have the attention to detail and readiness of everybody else. But it has been, there's been problems. I mean, there's been a lot of defensive injuries. There's been offensive inconsistency. I think they're close to being good enough. They just haven't done it yet. But I definitely don't think if the Bills were in it at the end, I wouldn't be surprised. They are for sure good enough. They've been there before. They know how to get there. I have definitely not given up on them yet.
So what is their biggest issue? Because it's a wide open AFC. It does not feel like anybody is going to be that formidable once we get to January. So anybody's tournament. But what's the biggest problem holding back the Bills?
I mean, I think the main thing is just being able to clamp down a little bit on defense. Thursday night, I don't want to say it's unfair because it's all fair, but that's the best defense in the NFL. Like, that's the best defense in the NFL. I mean, they went 3-0 with Davis Mills because they have the best defense in the NFL. And so I don't know that what we saw Thursday was emblematic of problems. I think they're pretty close and, clamp down a little bit on defense, get Keon Coleman involved. I think they'll be okay.
We know you as an NFL insider. We know you as a guy that's the source of so much information. But I also want to bring up the fact that you are an amazing dresser. I mean, how about this look right here? It is not easy to pull off a teal and, patterned suit with a pink shirt, and you're there with your lovely wife, the Bankstress, who I've met and I know from our days in Boston together. That's a pretty incredible look. And I didn't realize you were such a fashionista. But also, how about this? At the bottom, you'll see what this post was liked by. Mr. Craig Kilborn, SportsCenter legend, liked this. And so that's a guy that likes the finer things in life. Rap, this is an amazing thumbs up to you and your fashion sense.
Yeah, that was nice. Kilborn and I follow each other on Instagram. I was a fan. Apparently, he's a fan of at least my dressing. My suit guy, Rick Soto's the best. Here's what I've found, and this is sort of a good lesson in life for everyone else. It has nothing to do with dressing, is if you have confidence, you can kind of do whatever you want. So I can put together the most ridiculous outfits. And if you kind of wear it right, people are like, all right, I could see it. Hey, I like what you've done here. That's a good lesson for life, because that's really what life is about.
Life is mostly about confidence. You're right. Because of your confidence and your incredible enthusiasm for the job and for joining us here on the show, we want to reward you. All guests receive a bottle of Santo Tequila, the very best tequila on the market. Guy Fieri and Sammy Hagar, rock legend, have combined to collaborate for the best tequila on the market. So we're going to send you out a bottle for the holidays, man. Thank you so much for doing this. I know you are incredibly busy on Sundays, so it means a lot that you made time for us.
Awesome. Thank you, man. It's always great hanging out with you. I appreciate you asking me, and look forward to doing it next year, same time.
Next year, same time, same bat channel. Let's say goodbye to Ian Rapoport. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.